Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that this story's been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to do everything yourself. Oh, shoot! Shoot! I was so close! It has been ages. No guarantees that I will be able to explain things in a comprehensible manner. I have no idea what I'm doing. Ding. I have no clue how to open this video because I think with the whole intro and outro thing, nothing really feels quite right. So I just kind of want to keep it without one. What if I just had no intro? Like, just toss it out the window, I don't care. Just keep it relaxed, whatever. I think I'm, a little bit subconscious about making sure I don't, the words that come out of my mouth are, incomprehensible gibberish. But I'll see what I can do. And I think that's mainly what I meant, but I don't know what I'm doing. Everything else is okay. It's just been ages. Yeah, so I will attempt to explain what this is. As for any sort of explanations as to why content has been missing for, 3 years? 3 years? Yeah, I think it's 3 years. Maybe 4. Let's wait until I actually manage to put content on the channel for, longer than this one. We'll see how this goes first before I do, explanation stuff. But long story short, time constraints. That's why. I get some dust on my computer. And what is this video? Well, I adore the Stanley Parable, and I've taken off after the narrator, and I've practiced voice acting as him, and I've actually messed with the files so that I put my own voice in the game, and I think it's quite fun. I've taken it all out though, and I decided I would just do a live. I'm out of frame, aren't I? I'm so out of frame. So here's the problem, because I like to sit in different ways, and either I could sit like this, or I could sit like this. And actually, it seems kind of fine. But now I'm, low down the frame. What am I supposed to do with this? I have to readjust the camera every time? What am I supposed to do? So just, hope I don't fidget in the chair, and then you're golden. No pun intended. Anyway, I intend to just take this in kind of a relaxed way. I'm going to fall into all the traps that I did before, where, I fuss over everything, and, I hold myself to, such a high standard I can never reach it. I'm going to see if I can do away with that. Since I don't really intend to do cuts and stuff, if I screw up any lines, we're just going to have to play it as Eliza, or I might pause the game while I briefly repeat or something. But basically it's a behind the scenes look of if I was actually doing a recording that I was going to put into the game for fun. Because I've done that, I have a bunch of files on my computer that I can swap in my narration for the game. Oh yeah, my hair is basically as long as it was on that face reveal video. I would say that my hair is probably longer than it usually is, but honestly this feels around right. This is probably the longest I usually ever let it get, and to be honest, I'm not sure I'll be able to get a haircut anytime soon. But I'm just chatting about random stuff now. It's great. All organic commentary, guys. Alright, so in the hope that you now know what this video is, and that that wasn't all just random gibberish that made no sense. If you don't know this game, I recommend you either play it for yourself, or at the very least, watch someone else's playthrough, as this is a game you really don't want to spoil for yourself. It's a very good game. It's kind of one of a kind, maybe? I don't know. For me, it's one of a kind. I wouldn't know, apparently, because I just don't know things. I had to mess with the files in order to get it so the narrator wouldn't talk over me. Because apparently the subtitles only option in here doesn't work. All it does is the exact same thing as full captions, where it has subtitles and the voiceover. Anyway, yeah, the intro part of this game is the part I'm least proud of when it comes to my voice acting skills in here, but we'll see what I can do. And again, no guarantees on perfection because I'm not cutting stuff out. And I have no idea if the microphone can even hear me. I'm out of frame! That's great! This is the story of a man named Stanley. I forgot it was me. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427, and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him from a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what Employee 427 did every day of every month of every year, and although others may have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he'd been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had shown up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say, hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen, solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he gained his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office. Yeah, I misspoke on that one. Because I do this largely. Ooh. Oh, okay, that changes it up. Okay, right out the gate. Different room. But yeah, I do a lot of that from memory because I'm just a bit of a. Is fanatic the right word? A bit obsessed with the whole narrator stuff. I just went on and did a lot of practice. So yeah, I've got a lot of that memorized. Throat was kind of already dry. I think it's going to affect how well I do. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Alright, which way would you like to go? Great choice. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes. Truly a room worth admiring. It'd been... Gosh darn it. Yeah, it had to happen eventually. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in. Let's find a nice chair. Kinda like just sitting on the floor now. Yes! Really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it. At this point, Stanley's obsession with the room bordered on creepy, and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left. Ooh, coffee pot. Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue, but when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message. Oh, hang on. Microphone. Mousepad. Fussing! But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room, and took the first door on his left to get back to business. Not. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that this story's been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to do everything yourself. Oh, shoot! Shoot! I was so close! Oh, man, did I really have to make that mistake? Did I really have to make that mistake on camera? That's a mistake I usually never make. Oh, God, I was so close. Stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. And you notice, like, I'm not looking at the subtitle. I only look if I have to. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting. So oftentimes I do it by memory, and that's a part I know pretty well, but yeah, and because of that, I'm not looking at the subtitles. I'm gonna look at the camera so that I can try and get some facial expressions in, but yeah, I screwed that up. That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone. Not a chance. As Stanley picked up the phone, a white light engulfed him, filling him not just with radiance, but with hope. Hope for a time reunited once again. Wait. Oh goodness. Stanley, did you just unplug the phone? No, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly. I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check. I have no papers around, so I'll just look at my phone. No. Okay. No, it's definitely here. Clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions are supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What? Wait a second, did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person. I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices, and to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you've completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making, or you do not grasp the severity of the situation. Well, I can't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video. So, I think when I removed the narration from the game, I think I hit this as well. I have no intention of narrating this. There's no subtitles, so that may be hard, but my intention was to play the role of the narrator, so... Why am I How am I... What do you want from me, Facecam? Huh? Everything's crooked now. I'm gonna fuss. Oh, apparently we have subtitles now. Because reasons. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful, and whether you will ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video. Welcome back. You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a means of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago, to then see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way... Voice crack! This way, please. Yeah, I know this section's slightly less well. I feel like just activating my cheats all of a sudden. Just open all the doors. Yeah, but cheat lets me open any door. Now that we know your choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine there was that tone in the narrator's voice I just couldn't hit because my voice... sometimes your voice just doesn't feel quite right and you can't hit the right shoot. This is what happens when your voice is too dry before the video. I'm trying to, desperately drink a bunch of water. It seems like it's okay. Now I have no idea where we're at. Where are we at again? We can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying. Oh yeah, it is dying. Okay. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality. I have no clue if my voice acting sounds good anymore. I don't know what I'm doing. Hopefully the majesty that I have believed my voice to be able to conjure up in the past has been able to move you now. Also, yes, I have a beard and mustache. Very elegant, I know. Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending. Oh, for heaven's sake. I have this urge to throw that carrot over there. You can't see it. Just throw something. Just to be comedic. I should, just drink water every time I fail or something. Be like the pity water. Almost there. Wow, that was quick. Failed immediately. Almost there. You'll take the door on the left by the correct ending. The story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world. Oh, I love this part. Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. Alright. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. There was a little air bubble in my throat right then, so I was glad that ended when it did. No! Okay, shoot. Okay, so this part actually has quite a bit of emotion behind it, and in the past I've been pretty good at it, but my voice is a bit dry, so I'm not sure how well I could hit the octaves I need. This is great, though. You get a nice behind-the-scenes look at what it's like. So that pitch tone for the no was a bit higher than usual, so I might need to practice this a few times. I'm out of frame. I'm fine. Oh, it's just a bit too dry to get where I want to get it. Almost out of water. No! 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 We'll just do what we can. Because there's a part coming up that there's a decent amount of motion on the narrator's side, and I don't want to screw it up. I might screw it up. No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late. Okay, so this one I feel generally goes decently well, but I also am a little bit clumsy with it. Ugh, it's ruined. I can't believe after everything we talked about, my story. You've destroyed my work! Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about the game, seeing the game undone? Left here like so much garbage. It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there was a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever, reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely, to willingly destroy all my work? Oh, I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to. I have to. No, that was just me acting. Now this part actually has some... This next line you're about to hear actually has, some effects applied to it, so I can't do it perfectly, but I'll just have to do as close as I can with my voice alone. Yeah, see, now I'm fidgeting. I'm fidgeting with how I sit. This is great. I'm not terribly off frame, but I'm, low in the frame. So I'm just going to awkwardly adjust the camera without cutting it, right? My throat demands more water. My stomach's had enough. I'm off to the right again. That's great. I'm gonna fuss about where I am on... For heaven's sake. What is this? Either the face cam is off, or my monitor is crooked. What? How is this supposed to work? How am I supposed to do this? Come on now. Work with me here. Alright, where were we? Oh! I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish. With you. You! Who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say... sake. He actually understands how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you. You're a child. Oh, my story. If you had just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard. Let's behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. Right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Now, this next part, when I'm just, like, wandering around my room, and I get into one of those, like, moments where I just feel like saying lines to the narrator for like, a good 30 minutes. Sometimes I like to do this part over and over again, where I just keep going through the right door, or the left door, I suppose, if you went there first. No! Why did you do that? Quickly! I was supposed to say hurry. There's actually a hurry at the end. Is it behave exactly... Oh, what just happened? Oh, did I screw the... Oh, I remember it's this. Wait, I screwed the game over. No! What's going on? Oh, okay, technical difficulties. I remember when I was messing around with the game at one point and was doing cheats and stuff. I did have a weird issue like that, but I wasn't doing anything funny this time around. Way to be a confusing mess game. Kidding. Alright, let's get back. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that this story's been about nothing but you. This is it, Stanley. Chance, redeem. Redemption. Love. Fate. White clouds. Power outage. Oh, no, you can't. Did you just unplug the phone? No, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? Up, I'm here. Here, this pile of rubbish. I'm still here. Here, this pile of rubbish with you. You who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you run it to the ground. What did you think would be funny? You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you. You're a child. Is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Okay, so finally made it back. That took a while. How long did that take us? Okay, so not quite as long as I thought. New saved game. Cool. Alright, so we're back where we were before. I'm not going to go right again, because apparently that crashes my game. No, not exactly crash. Also, I believe there's an Easter egg here if I click this. Oh, there we go. Employee of the Year. Woo! Okay, so here's an interesting little factoid for you. I'm assuming you know the Stanley Parable at this point. Like, I'm assuming you aren't watching this as your first experience of the Stanley Parable, but, so this might not make as much sense to you, but, assuming you do know, fun fact, this part of the dialogue here, where it seems the same as the normal game, it's actually slightly different. The voice is actually slightly more rushed. He says it a bit more quickly, basically giving a sense that he's rushing. He's just kind of trying to make it seem like everything's the same, trying to get it. I don't know. It feels more rushed, on purpose. But for voice acting purpose, I'll be doing that as well. And also, like, if you poke around in the sound files, they are actually two separate, different audio clips as well. So they are different, even if they are the same words. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Later, when we are actually doing it, I won't be singing it in the rushed tone of voice. Yeah. I wonder if I can still... Nah, okay, figured. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with the voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to all of his questions, and beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Nightshark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? Well, there was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath, and then spoke the code. And yeah, just to confirm, I know I rambled about this before, but when I'm looking at the camera, I cannot see the subtitles. So yeah, I'm doing it from memory when I'm looking at the camera. And then I'll glance down to make sure I know what I'm doing. La 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 la. Good. Turn on. Turn on. Ahem. Stanley spoke the code. Nightshark 115. He spoke it into the receiver, right there on the wall. Nightshark 115. I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you? Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step. No. Okay, fine. You're not going to do it. But you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you had better things to do. I asked you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward. Okay, so this has a muffled sound effect added onto it. And in the voice recording, when I actually put it into the game, I actually add my own. But clearly I'm not going to have that here unless I, maybe I could actually add some voice effects after the fact. Maybe. Probably not. It's fine. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left. Stanley? Hello? Is everything okay? Stanley, please. I need you to make a choice. I need you to walk through the door. I don't know this part very well at all. Okay, so excuse me if I don't do very well here. Are you listening to me? Can you hear me? Is everything all right? Stanley, this is important. The story needs you. It needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me? Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be wrong here. We can work together. I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward, please. Choose. Do something. Anything. This is more important than you could ever know. I need this. The story needs it. So, can you hear me? Are you still there? Are you listening to this? Stanley, are you there? Notice the credits still scroll when I pause. That's interesting. I never do that. Okay. It's okay. I can wait. You need time to decide. Time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice. That's all right. I'll wait for you to decide what is the right thing to do. Take as much time as you need. Those, last two lines are all of a sudden I could not actually remember what the toning of the narrator originally was. Because, pretty much for the whole game, I basically remember what the toning of the, what tones the narrator uses, but that's, probably the exception. I've been recording for a good 43 minutes now. Clearly this video's not going to be that long, because there'll be cuts, especially in the beginning, where I had no idea how to do an intro. I guess we'll leave it there, though. Thank you for watching. And, yeah. I'm trying to think if there's something else I'm supposed to say. I know there are other things that people say at the end of videos, but I'm not going to bother. I'm one of those people who just doesn't know what to say, and just is so good at creating awkward moments or silences, because I just don't know what to do or say and stuff when things aren't happening, you know? I guess I'm good with my reactions and stuff, but, I don't know what to do. I don't want to be fake, okay? I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. Again, I don't know what I'm doing. Sue me. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you again later.